I show you these pictures? What about this one? And these? And finally these. When I was younger, I was terrified of putting my head underwater. My little mind would conjure up vivid images of a box falling over my head that would trap me underneath the surface the second I was submerged. So I refused to put my head underwater. I could still swim, but as it turns out, not allowing your entire body to get wet is a little challenging when it comes to this activity. I failed my first ever swimming lesson. My instructors telling me they didn't think I was ready for the next level. But no matter what people said or how much I missed out on, I refused to let the water win. Then, about a year into this ordeal, my family was swimming in our pool, and my dad turned to me and he said, "Today is the day you put your head underwater." I was about to protest, but before I could, he hugged me and pulled me under. I wasn't under for very long. It was just a quick bob down and then back up. But when we came to the surface, I was livid. I opened my mouth, ready to give him grief, but then I stopped. I just realized that I'd gone underwater and emerged unscathed. So I tried it again. Hold your breath, head under, and again. Hold your breath, head under, and again. Those of you who know me now know that I'm a competitive sailor and a competitive swimmer, and I absolutely love the water. But what would I have missed out on if I hadn't taken that step? Who would I be now if I hadn't chosen to change? Change is the most natural thing in the world, but it can also be the most daunting. It's normal to feel cautious, reluctant, or even scared of what might happen. We as humans like being comfortable. We like having knowledge and being in control of what will happen next. There's an old adage, the only constant is change. It's inevitable that there will be circumstances when we're not in control. And it is exactly then that we need to adapt to be successful. There are times when we must take that leap into the unknown, because it's only there that we can evolve and consequently thrive. Look at the history of humanity. Do you think mankind achieved advances in medicine, advances in technology, and traveled into the vast expanse of space by coloring inside the lines? Take you, for example. As high school students, we undergo some pretty major changes. I bet that if I ask anyone here, it doesn't matter if you're in grade 9 or grade 12, if I ask you, are you nervous for what comes after high school? You're going to say yes, or at least think it. And that's because we don't know what's going to happen. Whether we decide to go to university or community college or take a gap year, we are going to end up having to make choices that will change our lives forever. We'll grow up, maybe become parents, even grandparents. We'll be in relationships, maybe get married, maybe divorced. We'll be bosses, worker bees, and entrepreneurs. We'll take new jobs. We'll quit some jobs. We'll retire. Some of us will be faced with health challenges, emotional challenges, and financial challenges. I don't need to tell you that life will never be boring. So with this ever-changing reality, what do? You roll with the punches. You accept that yes, if I move forward, things won't go back to the way they were, and that's okay, because you must keep moving forward and use those experiences to become the best you can be. We accept change more than you think. In fact, we do it every day. From small changes like switching out the coat you're about to wear because you see it's raining outside, to bigger changes like taking more time to study for school. We can change. Research shows that teenagers can adjust to new circumstances better than most. This is because our minds are currently wired to help us adapt to almost any situation, allowing us to cope with leaving home or moving out into the world. So whenever you see an opportunity to better yourself through change, do it, because this is the perfect time to try. Now, some of you might argue that you don't like change, that the road only leads to unhappiness. Yes, we've all had experiences where we accepted change and thought it was a mistake, but we only have these bad memories in our heads because we let them stay there. We use them as a valid excuse to shun future change. So what would happen if we flipped that around? If we started to remember all of the good things change has done for us, instead of the bad? 2 years ago, our world was turned upside down. People everywhere were locking themselves in their houses, schools were shut down, and I know my family still has a giant stack of toilet paper. Those were tough times. No one alive had ever lived through anything like that. It was completely new. Fast forward to right now. Are we still at home? Are we still guarding our hand sanitizer like it holds the key to eternal life? No. Because we weren't gonna let one pesky little bug be the end of us. We adapted. We changed. Masks were donned. Stores moved online. Vaccines were developed. Learning moved online, in class, and then back to online again. Even though it wasn't ideal, we still found our way. Brave frontline workers and volunteers stepped up to keep our world moving. In short, people even found new ways to be active. In short, we adapted. We changed. None of us wanted this to happen, yet we still rose to the occasion. We fundamentally altered the way we live our lives, and because of that, we're still living them. Remember that. During the lockdown in Istanbul, a decrease in activity in one of the busiest harbors in the world saw dolphins frolicking in the water, no longer warily watching on the outskirts of the city. In New Delhi, pollution levels plummeted 79%, leaving the air cleaner and clearer than it's been in decades. All over the world, lack of human activity saw Mother Nature shine. From the return of the endangered pink dolphin in Hong Kong, to the pelicans that decided to take a stroll down the streets of England, animals started to return to their homes. Global carbon emissions plummeted 2 billion tons in 2020. 50% of this simply due to a reduction in vehicle and air traffic. Change can be a good thing. It keeps our society on track. It challenges us and pushes us to come up with innovative solutions. Sometimes we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we deal with it. Change is a gift. It's a guide, it's a teacher, it's the thing that can give you an advantage in life if you're brave enough to embrace it. Do you remember these pictures? I asked you what came to mind when you looked at them, and I'm sure most of you recognize these animals. But did you know that they're only here today because they changed? The crocodile is over 200 million years old, first appearing living alongside dinosaurs in the Cretaceous age. While the latter is extinct, the crocodile underwent several physical changes that allow us to see it today. Its eyes and nose are located at the top of its head, allowing it to hunt with 95% of its body submerged and hidden, with its rough exterior being almost impenetrable and allowing it to blend in with its environment. The eagle developed excellent eyesight, razor-sharp beak, and deadly talons to help it hunt. An adult golden eagle can take down a small deer. The octopus can change the color and texture of its skin, allowing it to hide from its predators. What about this animal? Looks like a bird, right? But I don't think you'd be able to identify it as easily as you did with the eagle. This is actually a type of eagle, the Haas eagle. It went extinct around 1400 AD. It hunted only one prey, the flightless moa bird. When the moa bird population became harder to find, the Haas eagle refused to change its eating habits and was extinct about 200 years later. And my parents thought I was a picky eater. I'm sure most of you know the company Netflix. But did you know that they're only here today because they fundamentally changed their business strategy? They started off in 1997 as a DVD rental business. Netflix recognized the importance of online streaming, made the risky leap to an online platform, and are now a $100 billion company. Another famous company is Amazon, which, like Netflix, owes a part of its success to change. It started off in 1994 as a small online American bookstore. Netflix expanded the range of its products and now sell anything from cooking supplies to a Nicolas Cage pillow. Do you know the companies Blockbuster and Borders? Maybe some of you do, but not as many compared to the ones from Netflix and Amazon. Blockbuster once had over 9,000 DVD rental stores globally. Everyone knew who they were. They were approached by Netflix in the year 2000 with a business offer, but declined, insisting that no one would ever stop renting DVDs. Blockbuster filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Borders was a global book and music store, but it was late to the online scene and closed its doors forever in 2011. 4 business giants. 2 accepted change and succeeded. 2 resisted it and faded away. Remember these stories. The successes that came from embracing change and the consequences that came from rejecting it. Next time you're faced with a decision that demands change, take it. It could work out in your favor. Change can be hard, but it's essential. So I implore you all to be change makers. Be the person who takes that step. Out with the old, in with the you. As Winston Churchill said, to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Thank you.